welcome back on Mummy's Love. You're once again with Mummy Shehnaz, and today it's a twin mommy tag question day. I have some list of interesting questions that you would possibly want to know about me, and also in case you are expecting twins or have recently given birth to twin babies. Alright, so let's get started on the very first question. I have two twin baby boys and who are exactly 18 and a half months old right now. So the first reaction that I mostly get from people when they see them is they ask me, are they identical twins? They look almost alike. No, that's not true. They are not identical at all. They are fraternal twins. They had two separate sacs and two different placentas. They don't even look 100% alike, but they look quite different in fact. It's just that they are a lot on their fathers, so a bit of them looks quite alike. Well, interestingly, when my children were born, my husband and my mother could not really differentiate between the two of them for the first 10 days, and they used to get easily confused. So that is when, my husband didn't allow us to take off the hospital name band, which normally they put on as a child is born. And that we had on them for almost 10 days until both of them could start differentiating between the two. So that used to be kind of hilarious to me because I could easily make up the difference between the two of them right after the birth. When a lot of people meet them and just tell them they just look exactly the same and they cannot make out the difference, it's also because I think more because of the fact that when it comes to twins, people have a psychological barrier. They just believe all twins look alike, and they look for that kind of ideal twin pairing that you see in most of the Hollywood or Bollywood movies. But that's not true. I think it's more of a psychological barrier that people have when they look at twins. So most of the twins do not look alike, and you will find very, very small or rare quantity of identical twins. A lot of you who are new to my channel must be thinking if these twins have been conceived naturally and spontaneously. No, these twins were conceived through IVF, and we almost underwent treatment for a very, very long time before we conceived them. You can actually, if you are new to this channel and you don't know how it all went about, maybe you'd like to watch my fertility journey and success story, I'm going to link it above for you to view. So the next question possibly on your mind would be if I delivered these twins naturally or did I deliver them through a C-section? Well, I really wanted to kind of deliver these babies naturally because I certainly believe that's the best possible way to deliver babies, and also it does not really kind of cause other side effects to the mother in the long run. But my doctor wanted to go for a C-section from day one because she always told me that these are precious pregnancies and she doesn't really want to take a risk, and a lot of times it can cause a lot of stress on the mother as well on the babies. So right from the day when it was clear that it'll be C-section, and we had a planned C-section, the boys were delivered on the 31st of January 2015 and about 11 in the morning, and it all went extremely smoothly. I had a wonderful delivery. I technically walked into the operation theater and I was very excited in the morning, and the first glimpse was so wonderful that I just ended up crying in the operation theater because that's one moment that I'd been waiting for. And the moment that I heard Riyansh cry, he was the first one to be born. So the moment I heard this little baby crying sound, I almost cried. I had tears in my eyes, and my husband was there during that birthing moment, so he was there to comfort me. But I think that's the sweetest sound that I could have ever heard in my life. So the boys were born to me exactly at the end of the 38th week, which is considered to be a full-term pregnancy for a twin mother, and they were perfectly healthy, fit and fine. It's just that they were very tiny, very petite, very small. So I'm going to share the first look pictures here. You'll know how it looked like when they were born. It was such an amazing moment. I think it's going to be one moment that I'm going to cherish for my entire life. And I don't think there could be anything better than that ever. I'm sorry for the background noises. It's Kyan who's playing with his blocks at the background, if you could see him. Um, I was so elated, I was so happy with their birth, and I was so amazed with the whole, you know, whole experience of birthing that I couldn't even sleep for the next 36 hours. In all, the entire surgery did not last for more than 20 minutes. There was a difference of about 2 minutes in the boys. I was expecting Kyan to be born first, but because he was head down, but I realized on the morning of the cesarean that I could just notice some movements on the upper part of my belly on his side. So I realized that he had moved up. It was a totally different, a very special moment, a different aura, and I think that still lingers on in my memory, in my mind. That particular moment is so fresh in my memory. And I was up on my feet the second day, feeding the boys, and I really never took too many painkillers despite having a C-section. Within a week or so, I kind of stopped on the medications that were given to me. And I was totally engrossed and completely involved in nurturing my children. You must be wondering how my twin pregnancy went. My twin pregnancy was pretty easy and convenient. I didn't face any major challenges or issues during my pregnancy. Um, I took care of my diet, and I was in a lot of support hormones to make sure that I'm able to hold the babies. I had lots and lots of scans and lots of doctor's visits, and of course lots of tests and monitoring of diabetes or thyroid levels that happen quite frequently. But fortunately, I never had any issues. I had a lot of support from my organization, the office where I work, and I was allowed to work from home for almost about 6 months of my pregnancy duration, because my doctor didn't want me to travel and wanted me to take enough rest at home especially during the afternoon hours and thereafter. So I took a lot of rest. Twin pregnancy does leave you extremely fatigued, so a lot of your normal social life, your home life takes a backseat, but that's all right. I mean, I know I have rested so much. It's amazing. Only thing that a couple of things that I did face trouble with during my twin pregnancy were breathing, because of all the progesterone and because of holding twins. I had trouble breathing. I was always short of breath, and especially it became really bad during the last few weeks of my pregnancy. Especially the last week, or the 38th week, was like something I just wanted it to pass in a jiffy, and I just wanted to give birth at that time because I was so done with having twins. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't breathe, and I was just compressed. I was compressed, my lungs were compressed, my stomach was compressed, and I had really bad acid reflux. But my first 2 trimesters were amazing. I was fatigued in my first trimester, but I never had any morning sickness or too much of nausea. I had a little bit of it that also went away around the fourth month or so, and I could eat perfectly well during my first 2 trimesters. But eventually, during my 3rd trimester, I had trouble eating because I was the organs were so compressed that I couldn't eat much. And that's also when I started losing a lot of protein from my body. I could just see the veins in my hand, and my flesh was literally gone. And we had to kind of supplement it with protein powder and stuff like that, just to make sure that I don't become too weak. So it did leave me quite weak, and honestly, I just gained weight over my belly. The rest of my body was just lean, extremely lean, and I probably would have lost more muscle weight than anything else. I couldn't eat that much during my pregnancy, especially the last trimester. That's the time when your baby gains the most amount of weight. I couldn't eat much because I had so bad acid reflux. Apart from that, I never had any other physical ailment like people have a lot of body ache, sore feet or swollen feet, and backs that ache too much, high blood pressure, migraine. Thankfully, I had nothing of that. So if I recollect, I think it was pretty easy pregnancy, and I'm sure even if I had a singleton baby, it would have been equally tough. But all in all, I think it was a good pregnancy. So the next question that a lot of people ask me is how hard were the first 3 months of being a twin mommy? Well, honestly, I really wish I had a better way to express it, but the hardest ever that you can believe, it's really, really hard being a twin mother for the first 3 months, especially if you're a first time mother because you don't know what you're going through. Your body is going through a lot of changes and you're beginning to breastfeed, and you've just undergone a surgery and you have to look after two babies who technically cry after every 1.5 hours for milk. So and you if you're trying to breastfeed and you don't know how to do it, it can be very frustrating at the moment. Um, so the first 3 months are probably the hardest, and that's the time when you need a lot of family support. You need so many hands because you need to grab sleep, you need to make sure that you're being fed and your house is in order. Well, thankfully I had my mother who took care of me during that time, and my husband was such a great support. So we kind of had shifts for us, for all of us. For the first 20 days my husband had an off. So I would sleep for 6 hours and then look after the boys for next 6 hours, and then my husband would sleep for 6 hours and then look after them, and then subsequently my mother would do it. So we had kind of a shift system the first 1 month of the delivery. By the second month we started getting little bit hang of things, but again, we fought a lot of sleep deficit for a very long time, and probably for the very first year I would say I was pretty much like a zombie, not able to get enough sleep. And honestly, it's now I can say that after 18 months I'm able to get sleep at one stretch at night. Sometimes still I wake up to feed one of them, but the first 3 months are possibly the toughest. You don't know what's happening around you, it's just crazy, it's chaotic, but it's so much fun because you're watching two amazing things grow, and you feel so special and so blessed at the same time. First 3 months you're just so elated, and I think your body releases a great amount of adrenaline or happiness hormone that just keeps you on your feet and going. It's only after 3 months or so you realize that, oh, you got tired of waking up after every 1.5 hours. You're tired of changing diapers and washing babies and just taking care of everything around. But overall, I think 3 months are hard, but at the same time, they're a lot of fun because in first 3 months, you just get to experience motherhood. You get to bond with the babies, uh, which doesn't come instantaneously. Bonding, of course, takes time. The 3 months are quite instrumental, and if you are resting well and if you have enough support at home, 3 months are going to go away. You really won't know where the year passes by having twins. So the next question is breastfeeding or formula feeding. Well, the boys were so teeny tiny that they never latched. I tried pretty hard and then I kind of gave up because my doctor also said that I should not take up too much of pressure of breastfeeding the babies because it takes a lot of toll on a woman's health. So I was kind of okay giving them formula feed, though I kind of pumped for the first 2 months, and that's how we could give them some of my milk. But eventually we switched on to formula, and the boys kind of lived on the formula for almost 3 to 4 months, and thereafter we switched them on cow's milk. One interesting question that people mostly ask me is that, what was your reaction when you first got to know that you're having twins? Well, it came with a lot of mixed reaction from our end. We were happy, we were very happy because technically, more happy for the reason that we were out of that entire infertility cycle of going through drugs, medication, doctors, scans, consultations. We were so done with it mentally. So I was so glad that it's over, and I knew this is probably the dead end for me, so I was even more happy for that. But the moment I knew it's twins, it took me about a whole lot of time, almost about 3 months to digest that I would be bringing up twins, because I remember one day I had technically had a meltdown. I cried before my mother and said that, how am I going to bring up twins? My career is over now, and how are we going to afford raising two babies? It's going to be very tough. So she kind of, told me that whatever happens, happens for good, and God chose you to do for this because He believes that you can do it. So it eventually kind of started sinking when around the second trimester, we started believing that it's happening for good, and I always wanted to have two children. So I'm glad that it happened in one go, because I don't know if I had the kind of age or the time or the inclination to do it the second time. So a lot of people, a lot of friends that I know ask me, what is it like raising twins? It must be really hard for you. Oh, I can tell you that raising twins is a really hard work. It's like you are doing two jobs at one given point in time. Your life can be chaotic, it can be stressful. It's really demanding on you physically, and it does take a toll on your body, your social life. There is no me time. So a lot of things you have to sacrifice in order to be a twin mother. But good things come with their own set of challenges. But I firmly believe in that I have really learned and seen during this entire experience of last 1.5 years is that God will only give you what He knows that you can hold together, what you can keep intact and keep beautifully. Treat that particular thing as a blessing. So it, being a twin parent needs a lot of patience, needs a lot of hard work, but at the same time you're witnessing a miracle in your life. Holding twin babies, it's a miracle in itself. When you see two little babies laughing at each other, hugging each other, kind of running after each other, and you have these little special moments, you just realize how, you just realize you are just part of one of the God's plan. You're witnessing a miracle that most people don't even get to see. And that's an amazing moment. And that one moment takes away everything else from your mind. And what I think is another amazing thing about having twins is that I know that my children have a friend for life. They've been born together, they've been brought up together. They will see a lot of their milestones together. So I know they'll always have a best friend in each other. And in some of the other part of life, we all need cousins or siblings or best friends to kind of lean on. And I'm so glad that they'll not be alone, and they'll always have each other to bank on. And that's an amazing thing, I think. That's an amazing thing, having twins. The kind of equation that you see between twins is just totally amazing. So now coming back to a few more things that I kind of find weird that people do when they say twins. A lot of cliched questions like, they look alike, are they identical, and do you plan to have another baby? I'm sure you don't want to have another baby, because I'm sure you're having a very hard time bringing up twins. So, I mean, sometimes it gets really nerving, people reaction to twins is weird at times. As a natural reaction, I think if I wouldn't have twins, I would have definitely felt very excited to see twins. But people are generally very, very excited to see twins, especially when we are taking them out together on a stroller or pram for a walk. People would kind of cross the road to come and see them, and if they're on a car, they would just kind of stop the car and watch them, and people would smile at us and smile at them, because they kind of think they're very cute and they're two babies, and for them, you know, it's a miracle and very unusual thing. So I guess I get all sorts of reaction, which are quite interesting, but at the same time, sometimes people do go overboard, like crossing the road and coming across to see and asking us, are they twins? Of course they're twins, you know. And when initially we started taking them out, people would really stare at them, smile at us, keep smiling at us constantly, as if something extremely funny is happening. There are times when I had a lot of women who just stopped us and started asking us, are the twins? And one point in time, I was kind of so irritated that I told a lady, no, they're triplets. The third one is at home. Would you like to come and see him? So I realized that, you know, you could just at times resolve situations like those by giving hilarious answers. But I totally understand why people come up with those expressions, and I think if I was not a twin mother, I would have the same amount of curiosity to know about twins. And people would generally stop me and ask me, do they cry at the same time? And how do you manage them if they cry at the same time? Do they have similar personalities? And of course not. They have different personalities altogether. They're totally different babies. They have different taste buds, different needs, different style of expressing themselves. And Of course, they do cry together at times, you know, if they're hungry or if they need mother affection at the same time. And, you know, we've learned over a period of time how to tend them, just distract them and calm them one by one. So these are generic questions that people ask me, and of course a lot of weird reactions that I get from people, but I totally understand that some of it is natural unless and until people just cross the boundaries and go overboard, because sometimes as a mother you become a bit possessive and you wouldn't like people to constantly stare at you just because you're a twin mommy and you're carrying twins. So that happens, but that's all right. I mean, over a period of time we've got used to it. We're still getting used to it. As they've grown a bit older and now they're technically toddlers, people don't give them that much attention that they used to get as young babies. I'm sure as time progresses, we are just going to go deeper into twin parenting, and we're going to love it even more. I'm loving every moment of being a twin mother, and as time is going to progress, I'm definitely going to like it even more. I think it's a fascinating journey, and I'm so thankful to God for believing that I could be a part of one of his special plans, and for being able to nurture and nourish two twin babies and bring them this far. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Do not forget to share it with other fellow moms, and especially twin moms that you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you keep yourself posted on more such exciting videos that will be coming soon. I will see you soon in my next video. Till then, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments box below. I'd love to answer your questions or anything you want to know about me, or the boys for that matter. You can also follow me on Instagram to see some special pictures of me and the boys having a wonderful time together. I hope you guys have a great day ahead. You take care. Much love. Bye-bye.